Welcome to Shambhavi's Spectrum Marketing Magic Industry Insight Series. Today, my beautiful guest, all the way from Algeria, is Bouchra Rebiai, and she is the founder of Aurora HIKMA. Thank you for being here, Bouchra, and thank you for finding the time to be here.
Thank you for hosting me on your podcast, Shambhavi. I'm really grateful for this, and I look forward to our conversation.
Yes, absolutely. And I am so excited because I've lived here for 33 years, and Arabic is a language which just deludes me. So tell me, how did the idea of your business come about?
Well, it's a long story, to be honest. So, um, my dad was from Algeria, and my mom is from Sri Lanka. We were born and raised in Saudi Arabia. I lived there for 23 years, actually. And we spoke both English and Arabic at home. It was not a problem for us. We knew both languages and we were quite fluent. I remember, I think I was maybe 6, and I would read boards on, the like signboards outside in both English and Arabic, and I would tell mom to look at it and laugh at how funny the English was, because there was it didn't really match the Arabic. There are so many of these examples. Obviously, I've forgotten a lot over the years because most of them I encountered when I was very young. The translation has improved since then, but you still find quite a lot of funny mistakes. And I actually got into translation and then into translation for marketing purposes and social media content and all of that. I started because I actually needed to help my mom with funds for college, which never happened to this day for me. Life took another turn. But yeah, I started freelancing online as a translator, and slowly I built myself up to where I'm right now. This was about almost 10 years now. I started actually in late 2013, a few months after my father passed away. So yeah, it has been an interesting journey, and it was a long path. And I feel like now I don't do most of the translation work myself. I do most of I check my team's work, I supervise their work, and I revise their work. I do most of the content creation and the digital strategy side of things. But with the actual implementation, it's my team who does it at this point. And I've gotten to this point where I feel like my mission isn't about translation only, but my mission is about um, helping Arabic speakers have great access to content online that is high quality, because you will not believe the amount of low quality content that's online in Arabic. So many rumors, so many mistakes, so many false facts spread around as if they were actual scientific facts. And the other part of my mission is that I want to provide women with unprecedented remote work opportunities. And this is something that today I'm providing to a few women on my team, and I'm really proud of that.
So it's wonderful that while at one point you want the quality to be improved, you also want to empower women. And it comes from a point where you yourself needed to be empowered. And it's wonderful. So at this point itself, let me wish you all the very best in this. And I definitely look forward to seeing how you grow. Tell me, when did you register
Thank
your
you.
organization? And when did you decide that you needed to not only work yourself, but you also need more members to support you and help you? When did this decision actually happen?
So it actually, well, I've been trying to work as part of a team since about 2016. I started by outsourcing admin work. That somehow didn't work out. I then went on to outsourcing translation work. That also didn't work out. My husband kept insisting, because my husband has a few years ahead of me in business, but his field of business is completely different. And he kept insisting that there is and there should and there must be a way where I can get other people to help me do the work so I can scale up. And finally, I stumbled upon it. It came through. I wanted to. One of the main things a lot of people tell me is that I should teach people how to translate, because I am apparently good at translation and I can pass that on. And what happened is that I actually ended up deciding that I would do a sort of like an educational program for 2 days. That was here in Algiers. We did it once in 2019. It was in person. It was called Translate-a-thon. And we got together as a group of about 22 people. For the first iteration, I really liked the turnout. And we got together and we translated articles for Wikipedia. So I was not using these people to do client work. I was just trying to help them learn how to be better translators. Most of them were translation students or graduates. And out of that, I realized that the way for me to scale up and include other people in my team is by training people and hiring them once they pass my training program, because I have very high standards, and there are so many times when I've gotten people who, well, on paper they say they have 20 years of experience in translation, but when they do a translation for me, I have to throw it out and start it all over, and I just don't have the time or the patience for that anymore.
So it's amazing that actually you've said exactly what people should be doing is train the people who they want to be working with, so that they are understanding each other's and find some others synchronization in what is requirement. So actually you've got just the crux of the business of how it should be done, and not expect people to just jump in knowing everything about you or your business as such. Do you provide certification for this?
At this point, we provide certification for it through our Algerian entity.
Great, great, fantastic. So let us talk about the business part of this now. How do you where can people find you? I know we met on LinkedIn and we have common from you entrepreneur groups. Tell me more about where
Yes.
can people find you?
People can find me at aurorahikma.com. That's AURORAHIKMA.com.
So I'll be sharing the details of that in the description box. Tell me why the name Aurora
Sure.
Hikma.
Okay, this is actually interesting. So it was never Aurora Hikma in the first place. It was Ishraqat Wisdom, and I had this name for about 3 or 4 years before I even thought that I could register a domain. So wisdom is obvious. Ishraqa is Arabic for ray of sunlight, or it also can mean uh, it's in relation to sunrise. So it has a few different connotations, but the main meaning is that ray of sunlight. And my idea was that I want to help spread wisdom through good content, just like the sun spreads its rays all across the world. And so I remember I was discussing the name with my husband. At the time, he was still not my husband at the time. um, and he told me it sounds too difficult for someone to remember, especially if that person were an English speaker. There's so much of the Arabic word in there, and it's a little complicated to pronounce and spell as well. He told me, why don't you turn wisdom into the Arabic word and find an English word for um, ashraqat? And what happened was, because the Arabic word for wisdom is HIKMA. It's, yes, English speakers would pronounce it as HIKMA, but it's a lot less complicated to pronounce and spell as well. So I kept thinking, I want to convey the same idea, that I want to spread wisdom. How am I going to do that? And then I thought, okay, at that time I was obsessed with the aurora borealis and how it looked like, and gradients and all of that stuff. So that's what I decided on, that it would be Aurora Hikma. We're spreading wisdom across the internet in Arabic. Well, for now it's just the internet, but we're hoping that in the future it would be more than just the internet. Um, we're spreading it just as the way the aurora borealis spreads, the beautiful colors across the night sky.
Lovely. And as I'm talking to you, I just remembered that maybe about 3 years back, there was an article in the newspaper regarding translators, and how it is so difficult. And because one of the things which we keep looking at in the future is that, is some profession going to be not there anymore? Like how some professions are coming in, is some profession not
Yes.
going to be there anymore? And I remember asking a class of students of management that, showing that article and asking them that, do you think? And actually, they all started with, yeah, who needs a translator? You have Google. And then, but as I was going through your website, also, I realized the information that, do you have something to say about that? Why people think that Google is a good substitute? That they can manage with it. Why do you think people think that in the first place?
Well, people might be able to manage with Google. Okay. I don't speak much of French because I grew up in Saudi, and my dad wasn't interested in teaching us French. So when I came first to Algeria, it was very odd. I had to learn French quickly. Um, I didn't. I still, to this day, I don't understand a lot of French. I just don't have the time to do it between, managing my clients in Dubai, traveling to Dubai often, and then also managing my team here and the bureaucracy here and all of that. It's just crazy. So I still haven't had the time to actually sit down and learn French grammar, and it's very, very difficult. When I need to, sometimes I do. For example, I'm scrolling on Facebook, and maybe one of my favorite Algerian pages has posted something in French. I don't understand more than half of it, so I go and put it in Google Translate, and then I match the vocabulary using what they're saying. The thing is, with English to French, it's not very bad. So it's bad if I'm going to use that in marketing or something like that. But for me to understand what someone else is saying, it's okay. I'm not going to make huge mistakes.
That's because
But
it's
if
in
I do the
context.
same,
Yeah, the language is
it's
in context. Yeah.
the languages are not different from each other in terms of grammar, syntax, and all the other linguistics stuff. But with Arabic to English or English to Arabic, you will see that it's very difficult for Google Translate to understand context. I'll give you an example, and this was like literally a few days ago. So there was a client who represents a it represents a company that has the word moi in it. Okay, and moi is French for me, or mine, something like that. I don't remember the exact conjugation of that word because it's very difficult. The French versions of every single thing. So basically it means me, but it's when it's a brand name, it's supposed to be written just like that, even in Arabic, because it's a French brand or something like that, and then they're reading it in English as whatever they think it is, and then when we translate it to Arabic, it's supposed to be written either as the most common pronunciation or the original language pronunciation. So moi is written MOI. And in one section of the website, which was using Google Translate to generate the Arabic version of the website, what happened was the English version, in one part in the English version, it was all in, just the first letter was capital, the other two was normal. That was transliterated, so it read moi in Arabic, not something else. For the parts of the website where it was all in caps, what did it say in Arabic? Can you just imagine?
No, tell me.
Well, it said Ministry of Interior.
My God.
So I don't know. Do you think it's suitable to use
Yeah,
Google
no, no.
Translate?
And you have no idea what it's saying either way. So any case we are messing it up. So I know the translation hiccups, because we have stories which we teach in marketing classes about translation hiccup, and you've just given me one more story now to share. So,
Yeah.
Bushra, tell me a little bit more about your website. Do you blog? I mean, I've seen your website, but this is for the audience. Tell me a little bit more about, do you blog and how often?
I am trying to blog once a month. I'm right now sitting on some very, very interesting content for my blog. I actually will be hoping, I will be trying to post this later today. One of the things I decided at the beginning of 2022 is that I wanted to showcase more women from our social circles as entrepreneurs and such, and we move in similar circles. And what I did was I actually asked 4 women who are both Arabic and English speakers to share with me their experience with working across the language barrier. So having to use both Arabic and English at work, and what's the difference, and a few other questions about their background as well to get to know them. It's very interesting, I can tell you that. And
I'm
I
sure
already
it's,
have
yeah, I look forward to
I
reading
already
that
have
in
yeah,
English.
obviously it's in English. It's for an English speaking audience. um, I have tons of content that I can pull just from the interviews with these 4 ladies, which is remarkable because there is so much to think about. And there was even, I made a connection through this blog post with someone who lived in a similar environment to mine, as in they were a third culture kid in a different country, and they grew up with slightly different languages than their native country, or I don't know, country
Yeah,
of citizenship, as
yeah.
whatever to call this whole thing that we have a
No, no.
passport to, but we don't really belong to so
Yeah,
much.
I know. That's what we're more of a global citizen now. I think almost everybody's getting out there where, you're more of a global citizen and boundaries don't mean anything anymore. And let me come back
Well,
to
they
your,
do mean something to, the guys not ready to stamp all the visas in our passports. They do mean a lot to them.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit more about your business, Bouchra. And because my
Yes,
audience is entrepreneurs as well as students who are just starting their journey, or management students who are interested in knowing things about management and who are interested in marketing. So let me ask you a management question. What kind of a leader are
sure.
you?
To be honest, I feel like my team is my second, or I don't know, maybe third family.
Okay.
I they're not very we're not very much far apart in age, but I've sort of adopted them as little sisters. In terms of how I deal with them personally. So I do give them personal advice from time to time. I ask them about their personal problems and things like that, obviously, to the extent that they are willing to share. And I leave them room for growth, to be honest. I tell them what they're doing wrong and how to fix it. And I also help them understand what they did well so they can keep doing it. And I have not studied management or any of this stuff. I literally didn't finish my A levels, so um, but I do understand that it's very important for me to be the kind of person that they should be, but if and when they are the boss to someone else.
Very nice. Let me ask you more about the company itself. Now, I know that you have a LinkedIn page, right?
Yes.
So, how do you use the LinkedIn page? What do you do with it for marketing yourself? My questions, the next set of questions are related to how you market yourself and, how do you track it? So, tell me, how do you market yourself from the LinkedIn? How do you use your LinkedIn page? Tell me that.
Do you mean the company LinkedIn page or my
Yes,
personal?
you could talk about both, but I'm interested in the company page because we're talking about the organization here. So I'm interested in the
Okay.
company page.
So at this point, what I am doing is I am trying to post 3 posts a week to all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, the company profile. And what I'm trying to do is on Mondays, it's usually a post that's related to a special occasion or a blog post that I've written or a testimonial. So that one varies a little bit. And then on Wednesdays, I'm trying to do something that I've called Stories by Bouchra. And this is where sort of like my tone of voice, my personal tone of voice takes over the account. And this is usually I use some of the content that I would also be posting on my personal profile. And I think you have seen some of those. They're more conversational, more me telling a story about something that happened to me, and no calls to action, nothing like that. Just sharing who I am and what I am, and just a way to sort of like put part of me into the brand. So that's what I'm trying to do on Wednesdays. And then on Thursdays, I'm trying to post one episode a week for my podcast that's about Arabic to English translation. That's called Tart Bites.
Okay, I saw that on the page, but I wasn't sure what it was. So who is is it with some guest there, or you're by yourself on that?
So I actually have 9 themes on the podcast. I know it's a lot, but what I'm trying to do is recycle the themes. So I have once every 9 episodes, I do have a guest interview with a fellow translator. Um, I've done 2 so far because, like I said, I'm not to this point. I'm still not very regular in posting. I get a little bit sporadic with it. Sometimes I miss a few, and then I catch up again. And
So do I understand that you do all of this yourself? You don't have anybody helping you?
on the marketing side of things,
Yes.
no,
No.
no,
And do you use
I still
anything for
haven't.
scheduling? Do you use anything for scheduling
I'm trying to use later.
later?
And for the podcast episodes, I do it through anchor.fm, and it's easy to like upload episodes and let them go out on them their own. But my biggest problem is with carving that time out to create the content and schedule it. Sometimes it's easier for me to put a post out towards the end of the day when I feel like, okay, I've been so delayed and I want to post something because I haven't posted in a few days, or because I'm trying to stick more to the schedule. It's it's sometimes, that pressure is so much easier than having an hour or two scheduled out where I sit down and think, okay, let me write the posts, and then because I actually don't stick to that schedule, something or another comes up and I prioritize that somehow over, and I know that's a very bad business practice, but
So
I'm
does it
trying to
mean
organize myself better.
so does it mean that you're not looking at best times to post on which which platforms?
I try to when I have some scheduling going on, I try to, but it's a little bit difficult for me at the moment, to be honest. And what I've noticed with the best times to post part of things is that, sometimes when I'm using Facebook or Instagram or even LinkedIn, Twitter, when I go to my feed, a lot of the times I see posts that are quite old. I mean, long ago, you would
Yeah.
see the posts as soon as they got posted, but now it's like you're playing the lottery. Someone
Yes.
could see it 2 days later and they think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
okay, this came out today, and then they check again, oh, it says 2 days
I
ago,
agree
you
with
know?
you. Even I get that. You're like, just now a notification will come, and when you open it, it's like 4 hours back or 8 hours back. You're right on that
I
aspect. But
mean,
there is
four to
the
four
algorithms
to
really do play. I have no idea what goes on. Are you on
yeah,
Instagram? Are you on Instagram?
I am on Instagram, yes.
Do you do lives from Facebook or Insta or LinkedIn anywhere? Do you do live?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I just
And
worked up the courage to do LinkedIn videos, so bear with me on that.
no, no, I look forward to that. And usually, when we have discussion, many time people end up saying, "Okay, this is a good idea to start on." So maybe
Yeah.
small, short lives on Insta might actually be a good, great idea. And even LinkedIn, in fact. And then again, what about TikTok?
No, I haven't done TikTok yet, to be honest. And I have a reason for that at this moment. So I'm at this moment I'm spending most of my time here in Algeria. It has been a while since I've been to Dubai. I'm still organizing some things so I can go. I'm stuck with some paperwork that I'm doing here for the Algerian side of the company. And when this is my impression, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what I understand is that with TikTok, you usually the primary goal, I think, from I don't know, how do you call it? Is it a goal for the algorithm is to show you things that are posted from places near you. I think that's one of the main things, that like IP addresses that are close to each other, and then the next step is content that you actually have interacted with. This is especially for more of the newer accounts. At least that's my impression, because I use TikTok as a personal, like a for me to look at TikTok videos, and I still get content that I really don't like, just based on their assumptions about where I am and things like that. And
I
I'm
think, however,
avoiding.
yeah, what you say, maybe you're right or wrong, I don't know. But I think TikTok has also evolved in the last 2 years. Let's be honest, it became really very popular at the peak of the pandemic when, people had more time
Yes.
watching, more time generating content, kind of a thing. And now, because professional companies are in there, so I think it's become more broader in its spectrum, in terms of like now you can do videos for longer duration than what it was earlier. So
Yeah.
it's an evolving, yeah, earlier it used to
It's
be that you had to be
evolving.
fun. Yeah, earlier it was that it had to be fun, but then now over a period of time it's become like you can educate. And that was the reason I asked you, since that education element is there in what you're doing as well, whether you're interested in TikTok. That was why my question to you
I
specifically
am.
about the. But
Yes,
take your time,
I'm interested
explore
in
it all
it,
you,
but
yeah,
yeah.
explore it all you want, and we'll definitely see. So, where do you see in another 5 to 10 years? What is Aurora, Hikma, and Bushra doing down the line?
Oh my God, that is such a loaded question. Where do I start? Okay, in 5 years, I want to be running events for Arabic speakers across the Middle East. Um, I want to run events to target customers. So I want to have 3 to 4 complementary brands in one place. Let's say we host a breakfast for moms and have a lady come talk about, let's say, for example, self-care for moms, and then we'll have a few brands that are related to moms that would showcase their products. I know there's a lot that's being done right now in Dubai like that in English. But what I want to do is I want to expand into Saudi, and I want to do this kind of stuff in Saudi and um, other Arabic speaking countries, like the rest of the GCC. I want to expand into it and do this really
Actually,
hard.
actually,
Yeah.
even your idea of having a conference and training, getting translators together, that really excites me. I mean, I'm sure it must have been so much of fun. And maybe the
it,
people
it
would,
was.
because it's a time of collaboration, Bushra, honestly, rather than being competitive, people want to collaborate. And if one person is, kind of little lagging on something or has an edge, you want to share or you want to learn, depending on what your situation is. So it's just so, and hopefully everything is opening up now, and your event, which you're planning, instead of 5 years, maybe you'll do it in 2 years or so, or maybe earlier. I
Well, what
definitely
I
wish
mean
you all
is
the luck.
not my what I mean is not that I would be doing this event after 5 years. What I mean
Yes.
is after 5 years, we would be
Uh,
regularly doing
Regular,
events on the behalf of
absolutely.
brands like
Yes,
this
absolutely.
across, all 6 countries, which is quite a big feat to accomplish, to be honest.
But why not? You have to start from a dream, and I'm sure you're going to achieve yours. And
Yes,
I'm very
yes.
excited for you. Any Tell me, what is a book that you're reading right now,
Deep work.
and any reason why you chose it, or something you want to quote from
So
it?
I've wanted to read Deep Work. I don't know if you've heard of it before. So I
No.
just said Deep Work.
No. You saw the
It's
blank on my
Deep
face,
Work.
and I never.
It's Deep Work by Cal Newport. So this is a bit of an interesting story. When I was studying, I self-studied my GCSEs and A levels. Um, so when I was self-studying, I needed some advice, and I got on the internet my trusty advisor since I think 2008. And what I did was I googled study hacks, and I found this blog by this guy who talked a lot about interesting stuff related to focusing and things like that. And then what I did was I sent him an email, and I told him I need to study 3 subjects in 3 months, because I have booked my exams already and I've done nothing. And he gave me some interesting advice. And well, I'm not going to say that I implemented it all, but I aced those exams.
Wow.
And yeah, and later on, I kept on, following him throughout his journey. And now he's a professor in computer science in, I think it was Georgetown University. Sorry, I don't remember exactly, but it's one of those big name universities. And he wrote a book called Deep Work. So Deep Work is about it takes on the idea of flow, if you've heard of it, being in a state of flow, working in a state of flow, sort of like that. He talks about deep work, and it's very interesting. I still haven't finished the book. I started a few pages of the book, and I realized I need to implement this as soon as possible. So what I did was I went and found some videos on YouTube that summarized book and what he talks about in terms of the idea, the steps to do to achieve deep work. So what he says is that when you focus on something, that's when you are able to hone your skills and to improve your quality of work to a level where you are irreplaceable.
Okay.
So I've noticed, in the last few years that there's a lot of noise in my head, outside of my head, on the internet, everywhere. There's a lot of noise. I'm always thinking about 250 things at the same time. And it's not helping me with, improving the quality of my work. I feel like I've gotten to a point where my work has been stagnant for a while and it's slowly starting to improve. But in terms of the quality, I feel like I've gotten somewhere where I know I can improve a lot more, but I just don't have the focus for it. So I'm reading this book to learn how to get back the focus. And he says that to do deep work, you need to go into a place or go into a state where you have no distractions. He actually tells you to don't check your email.
I know
And
I know where you're going with this, and I would love to read it because there are many people who have now started saying that multitasking is overrated. So I would definitely look forward to reading
yeah,
this book, and I hope that maybe you'll talk about it in one of your podcasts, which we could listen to and know more
well,
about.
I actually have, I've talked about a few pointers that are related to the idea of not switching from one task to another and things like that. This is one of the themes that I tackle in my podcast, productivity and efficiency tips for translators. And I talk about it in terms of translation, but obviously it can apply to
Yeah,
other
it is.
people as well. But there are short tips, so it's mostly 3 to 4 minutes. I think you can I've put out about 18 or 19 episodes so far, and I think you can consume it all within a max of 3 hours.
Oh,
And
that's very nice. I'll
that
definitely give,
includes
yeah, I'll definitely look forward to receiving a link from you for the main podcast so people who are listening to us can also follow. Before we
yeah,
finish, and yeah,
about the
sorry.
link to sorry, about the link to the podcast. I will send you a link where you can get all the other links, because that's how
Yes,
it
yeah,
works with
that's exactly what.
Anchor.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've taken quite a lot of your time and I'm waiting for the blog post which you mentioned tonight. It's going to be out. So any last words before you leave and anything you want to share with with the audience, anything you want to tell as what is your mantra, something which you live by or which you believe in, please go ahead and tell us, Bushra.
Well, first of all, you didn't take up so much of my time. I mean, we could talk for hours on
I
this. I
know,
know
but
that.
we'll do it offline.
Yeah, we do have to get to work, don't we? Anyway, so what something I live by. Well, I believe in the power of work and hard work that transforms into tangible results that you can see in your everyday life to improve the quality of your life. And I believe that no one should compromise on quality as long as you have the skills or the ability to learn the skills. Go for it. You might think I live in God knows where, and everyone here makes $2 an hour, or I don't know, $2 a day, so I'm okay with making, I don't know, like $10 a day. And I don't believe that if you have something that is worth $1 million, it doesn't matter where you live. Find a way to get there. It's gonna be hard. I know, because
No,
I've
there,
not reached there.
yeah,
I've not
no,
reached
of
there.
course
I'm
you
still
have.
like in the beginning,
No, no,
but
of
I
course
know
you
it's
have.
it's yeah,
Yeah, but
I know.
there is no alternative to hard work, and we understand that. Thank you so much, Bushra, for being here. I
You're
look forward
welcome.
to seeing
Thank
your
you,
business grow. I
Shambhavi.
look forward to seeing you in Dubai when you come here. Don't go away, stay
Definitely.
online, and we'll just say bye to
All
the
right.
audience for now. All right?
All
Okay.
right. Good.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.